So we are at the Makerere reception. Yeah. It's the end of the school year, got an invitation, and we're all in a social circle. Vice Chancellor.
Oh yeah, Joe.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Lovely to see you again.
You look terrific.
Oh,
You look so... She looks terrific. She will have a baby. That's terrific. So, how are things going? I've just finished the communications workshop and I met incredible faculty. You'd be really proud of your faculty.
Wow, that's lovely. How did you find most of them? Did you interact with them?
We interacted 3 days non-stop. So.
Wow, that's good to
So
know.
all of them were really outgoing, lots of ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I visited your university, Case Western University, I loved the way the student services are run.
Yeah.
Quite efficient.
Uh-huh.
And you know, with my next 2 terms, which last about 8 years,
Yeah.
we're actually trying to put together a strategic plan.
Oh,
And I
how
was
interesting.
considering putting together a team from Case Western, but there's some arguments that probably you should consider people from Makerere, they're saying we actually have the brains from Makerere to help us put together an innovative, practical strategic plan. So I'm considering getting a multidisciplinary team with leaders.
Yeah,
And see if we can
together.
actually put something together for the next 3 months. I don't know if from that class.
Many of the fellows actually mentioned student engagement and improvement and had ideas. And I think we can talk to some of them and you
Okay.
can hear what they have to say.
Because, students are our clients, so we really need to give them good services.
Yeah.
So probably I should give them a chance and speak to them before I consider the Case Western team.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me
So,
know.
Beatrice, I want to introduce you to the Vice Chancellor if you haven't met her before.
Nice meeting you. Okay. I'm Beatrice. I am the only mycologist at Makerere University. And that means,
Mycologist?
yes, that means I study and do research on type of germs which are called fungi components. They exist in all normal people, but when something goes wrong with the immune system, HIV, AIDS, cancer, it becomes significant.
Okay.
So through this position, I've been able to lead a lab, I'm the director of my college lab, I lecture, so I draw a class to teach the students. And since we introduced a new program of mycology for training the students in Makerere University, passed out 3 of them, and that has really helped to reduce the trophic fungal disease in Uganda. I think I'll bring my leadership skills to this position.
Okay. Okay, Beatrice, do you have any experience in, I've heard you say you do a lot of lab work?
Yes.
So do you think you have any experience to bring for planning?
In terms of that would be leadership.
Okay.
So yes, the skills are in the lab, but even the lab itself has to be managed. You have to have logistics, you have to manage the human resource, you have to manage the program that you're passing out to students. So that has put me in a place of leadership. I have the skills to do this lab.
Okay. Wow. It's interesting that I hadn't yet heard of you. It's lovely meeting you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let me introduce you to Ronald.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Ronald Chikuba, a pharmacist by training, and I have a keen interest in knowing how safe are the medicines that we use, because most every consultation between a patient and a healthcare professional ends up in drug prescription. And so we're interested in side effects of drugs, we're interested in harm that results from medication errors, and so from a research background, because I'm a researcher for the most part, and I would want to know how these errors can be, in the first instance, reduced, and then to be able to improve on the safety of healthcare in our city.
Okay, thank you, Ronald. So how would that relate to the student services for which you want to improve?
Yeah, see, interesting is that in most instances when we train students, we don't give much attention to what they end up encountering in practice. So as they offer their care, as healthcare professionals, they need to know that yes, we take responsibility for what we give eventually as qualified healthcare professionals.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ronald. I'll definitely get in touch.
Let me introduce Vice Chancellor. This is Rose.
Yes, you
Vice Chancellor. Yes, I'm called Rose, as has introduced me. I've heard that you're looking for people who would like to look into strategic planning. Yeah, I have a laboratory background. I'm a lab scientist by background, and actually I have 12 years experience in different specialized lab services. I worked at the UVRI, at the GCRC. Currently, actually, I'm in Macquarie University.
What's that?
I worked at Uganda Virus Research Institute and the Joint Medical Research Center. And currently, I'm working at Macquarie University. I'm a PhD student there, and most of my work is hands-on laboratory work. In the Macquarie University lab, we do a lot of training of students. We do a lot of we help in putting together and implementing different research projects with the students. So I believe with this expertise that I have, I will be able to contribute to the strategic plan in helping students to be able to develop and achieve their goals. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Rose. Any problems you think your lab background can help resolve in terms of our planning, student problems?
Yeah, so like during our practice and training with students, we found that some students lack interest in the lab. So as my experience can be able to, if I join the team, I'll be able to bring in interesting ideas or ideas that can sell to the university and to the different teaching staff to be able to interest students to love the lab.
Okay, thank you, Rose. It's interesting meeting a lab person. How do I contact you?
Fatiro.
Yes,
Vice Chancellor.
Hi, Madam Vice Chancellor.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, I'm here to share with you some of my past works in terms of organizational development, strategic planning, and business systems, business system strengthening. I'm a pharmacist, but I trained in management. I did graduate training in management 15 years ago. I've since undertaken a number of assignments in organizational development. The most recent was a USAID funded project for private health sector system, business systems strengthening, which we performed excellently. Besides that, I teach management, and I believe I can make a contribution to the ongoing plans of the university to grow up.
Okay. And any interface you've had with student services?
Yeah.
Because
I've
sounds
had,
like your work has been outside.
yeah, I've had broad exposure to students both at this university and other universities, which I believe I've been to American universities, I've been to British universities, I've been to regional universities. I believe that experience can be of great help in growing up strategic practice.
Sounds very interesting. Okay. Okay, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Here is my business card. Because you know.
This is Emmanuel.
Hello, Kathy.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry, it's Dr. Mwesigo. Yeah, Professor Mwesigo.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I am Emmanuel,
Yes, Emmanuel.
physician with the Department of Internal Medicine in involved in teaching medical students, patient care and research.
Okay.
And currently, I would like to update you that we have a huge collaboration in research with the University of Texas, Cambridge, and another in Kenya, Memorial University. So far, we've been able to produce more than 50 papers in the last 2 years that I have prepared with this team. This team has trained more than 3 junior faculty, who in turn are supervising 15 students. Our work has been quite credible, and it's been informing the Ministry of Health policy makers on how to formulate guidelines for the control of malaria. And I'm happy to inform you that 5 of your staff members are on the technical working group of that task force. I would also like to update you that we got a slot in the Uganda Virus Research Institute to have 2 of our students trained every year in laboratory methods. We still need placements elsewhere to improve the laboratory training, given the huge number of students that we are currently enrolling at the university.
Okay, thank you, Manuel. Any services that you think would be of interest to you, student services?
Yeah, we still, much as we're concentrating on lab work, we need more space for training our medical students. The words that we are using currently are so squeezed and unsuitable for that purpose.
So you think that you can draw up a plan to resolve some of those challenges?
Sure, I have worked with a team from Malawi before on similar task, and I believe that the experience that I have from that place can be very, very helpful in turning events around in this university.
Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you very much, Manuel.
All right, please receive my card.
Okay. Wow, it's a very long CV. Okay.
Thank you. Please meet Richard.
Yes, Richard.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm Richard Zera. I'm a mycologist, and I diagnose fungal infections in humans, especially those of HIV infection. I'm currently doing work on allergic fungal infections, patients who have asthma, hoping to improve their treatment outcomes. Allergic. I will take patients with asthma who have allergies that are caused by fungal pathogens.
Okay.
I have keen interest in translational research and supporting postgraduate training. I currently supervise a couple of undergraduates and postgraduates, and I hope that experience may be very useful to the students at your institute.
I thought you're part of my where did you say
Okay.
You're not part of my university?
No.
Okay, so, but this, can you tell me about the skills that you can actually bring on board for strategic planning?
I have some leadership skills, mainly in the laboratory. Yes, and research, mainly research. Yes.
Okay, great, that's good to hear. I've never heard of anything to do with asthma. It's been lovely to hear from you. Thank you.
And let me introduce you to Pisa.
Okay.
I'm very pleased to meet you, Madam Christian.
Same.
It is such a pleasure. I'm a very big fan of what you do.
Oh,
You are so amazing. You have done such great work with this university.
Thank you.
I'm a specialist kidney doctor. I work with kidney patients and their families. Kidney problem is a very big kidney disease is a very big problem in Uganda. And the biggest problem with it is that most people don't know about it until it's really, really too late. Because of that, we find that most of the patients who come in when it's much very, very advanced, and the cost of care is really, really high for most of these families that we have. Incidentally, have you had any kidney checkups that you know of?
I don't even
You see, it's a big, big problem. And the problem is it's a silent killer. Most people don't know about it until it's really, really advanced, and cost of care is really, really expensive. Patients have to get kidney transplants, which costs almost 100 million, which is really, most people cannot afford. What I would really, really want to do with your university is I would really want us to come up with an insurance scheme for students to have at least basic healthcare checking. And also this will help them to build awareness, because if they're more and more aware of their kidney health and their kidney disease, then they are more likely to ask their families, their relatives to do more of this checkup, which I think is really, really important. I think you agree with me on that.
Wow, that's a great idea. Is kidney disease the only problem that you...
Well, there are lots of other problems, but my particular focus is for kidney disease because of the advanced level and advanced stages of patients that I see on a daily basis, driving their families into poverty because of healthcare. I think it's a really, really big problem that should be addressed, and I think you would do a very, very big role in addressing this problem.
I'll think about this. It's quite innovative.
Thank you very much. This is my business card. I'm very blessed to meet you.
So, Madam Vice Chancellor, how do you do? How did this feel?
Well, I'm considering someone to lead that team based on his pitch.
Who was that?
Fadir.
Fadir. Okay. Yeah. So, what made him stand out?
Well, he related well with what was on board, what was strategic plan, so he laid out clearly his management training background, his exposure to actually other settings, and his personal experience in management, which would actually be relevant whereas for most of the people it was hard to relate what their current work is to actually what the problem that one addressing. Yeah. So the focus went more to we are doing this research, we're doing this, and yet we want to look at leadership, planning, so it's to get someone out of their comfort zone.
Who else would be on your strategic plan?
Peace also brought a very innovative idea, but she was a bit biased to her area. Yeah. But I thought, she was.
The idea was quite
it was quite
innovative. Yeah. All of you come forward. Again, come on. Yeah. So, Beatrice, how did you do?
I think I was so much into my work and less about the student experience, because this was improving student experience. And when she asked me, so how do you bring that into leadership? That's when I realized, actually it's about I should focus on the leadership roles that I can
So you're all teachers, yeah? Yesterday you wanted to leak to the press that Makerere is not great. Today you couldn't advocate for your own students. So that's why I think if you have the opportunity inside to make a change, make a change. Make a change, be an advocate, be a real outspoken person of how you can, and she asks you, I want to improve, so this is a strategic direction. Yeah. You have a unique opportunity to buy into that strategic direction and say, I will help with this, I'm passionate about this, I want this, and here are my 3 reasons. Emmanuel said, okay, we don't have enough space. So that was one clear indicator of what he wanted to fix, and I thought your idea was brilliant because it affected every student. So the larger the scale is, the better it is. Yeah. You got stuck when you said, and we trained 2 students. Yeah. So where's the scale? Where's the scale to the university? So not only focusing on your area, but how would every student from this benefit the university? Yeah. Again, you make her look good because she gets her strategic plan done and she starts to implement it. Yeah. And I didn't understand you because, my God, renal patients have hypertension and diabetes and hepatitis, and there's everything under the sun that you could have thrown in. Yeah, so you just expand and open your fan a little wider and say, let me show you my cards. Yeah, so, but your idea affected every student across the entire university. Yeah, that is really scale. That brings it to scale that it's not, oh, I'm defending only my little area and that's what I want to do. Thank you, Beatrice. So, how did you feel, Casey?
For me, I think it's always difficult for me to approach a person and talk. My natural sense is my natural sense is that I should just sit back and relax. But I think I'm learning more and more about advocacy. That it's about trying to get out of your shell and try to talk to people as much as possible. And I think I'm also learning more and more that it's very important to compliment people when you begin to talk to them, because it kind of like helps them to kind of tune into what you're saying, because if you say something good about them, then they'll actually listen. So I think getting out of your shell for me is my learning area.
Good.
So what I have for you, Peace, is what did people feel when started asking, can I do a check for you? No, she didn't say
Yes, I thought about
Do you want to?
what did I say? I didn't know if it may be offensive. Yeah, it may be very offensive.
Have you had a checkup?
No, you say, yeah, it may be very offensive.
Have you had a checkup? Okay,
Yeah.
she said, have you had a checkup? And that is
offensive.
from the one I'll just step back and say she's getting too close in my personal area, personal space. But you could still do the same in a different way. You'd say the checkup is free. We offer free checkup for anyone who wants to. Then that way she would say, oh, if I wanted a checkup. She could be a visiting person and say, well, while I'm here, if I want a checkup, I can get it from here. She can just go remembering that. So again, I'm saying, what can you offer? If you're offering free checkup, it will attract someone to come.
And if you're really smart, you invite a photographer and make a picture and put a story online how the Vice Chancellor came for her first renal checkup. And use this story again to engage the campus community, engage the greater community. You want to promote kidney health, then make it about the public and let the public know. So, and because she's such an exposed person, she carries a lot of weight. So if the Vice Chancellor comes and gets a kidney checkup, then other people will follow that example and say, okay, obviously she finds it important enough to do, so I will follow that example. Yeah, that's a real train of communication where you think multiple steps ahead. Yeah.
I thought it's one we need more practice, and sometimes it's challenging. Actually, you have to think first of how you connect what you do to the interest of the person you're talking to, assuming you actually know their interest. Though I believe that if you may have this default of if just someone just asks you, what do you do? You may have a default, but if you know their interest, you can modify that default slightly to fit their interest.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what this says? Because we talked about what the person thinks about you. So if you can't adjust what you know and what you do daily to what a random person wants, does it mean that when you go to your work, whether it's in your lab, you close your eyes and say, you know what, me, I'm doing mycology. If a student comes up, if they talk of a communication mode, you are saying, what's communication? Me, I'm doing mycology. So that's what it tells someone. If you are working on kidney disease and you respond the way you responded, I know, even if she's a physician, if I come with an asthmatic patient, that's not where I'll go. Because they'll not even care about it. Just they'll say, me, I'm kidney disease. So that's what might reflect to someone who's speaking to you, if they detect that you can't adjust.
Rose. How are you?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so just as he said, more practice. I need to practice my elevator speech, only that. So, like, there's one I have. If you ask me about what I do for my work, I can't really say it. But if, like, something like strategic planning, to tweak it and fit it in, I would have need maybe a bit of more time.
So let me help you think through this. How many students do you have in the lab on a regular basis?
Maybe 20?
Maybe 20 on a given day.
Okay. 15
So-
to 20 on a given day.
On a given day. So times 5, that's 100 students a week. Times 15 for a semester, that's 1,500 student engagements every semester. So what would make their life better in the lab? If you would have your wish come true, what in the lab would have to change? That they have more interest, get better grades, have better engagement with you, have better outcomes.
Increase the space, the lab space, because it's so small for the number.
What would you do with the
reagents
space?
available. What? Pardon?
What would you do with the space? I give you an extra room. What would you put in that room?
We need, so in the lab, the lab has many benches.
Yeah.
It is squeezed. So if I get a teaching place, which is near the lab, I can easily carry demonstration material to that place to be able to teach them. So it will make teaching easier. And also having more reagents that we can use to train the students.
How does this help the students?
They'll
She's
be able-
interested in the student
They'll
experience.
be able to learn, because if we don't have what to use, we can't teach. So they'll be able to learn and then better grades.
Okay. So think about this. What is the scale that you're thinking about? How could you make, so we have 1,500 student engagements per semester, and here are our limitations, and this is how this would really help if we can strategically put this in the strategic plan. So move your setting forward and say, okay, here are the constraints that we have, and this is how we currently manage it, and this is how it would be so much better with X amount of what is it that you would like to see in the strategic plan. Because she will not fulfill your entire wish list, but she may help you with a key ingredient, so that after 5 years you think, yeah, this made a huge difference in the lab. Yeah.
So she asked you, how would you improve the student experience in the lab? I think she asked that, and you said, I have lots of ideas. But now I could improve the student's experience. Now, if you say lots of ideas and you don't even pick on one idea, that becomes a problem. So you could give one idea or two and then say, given more time, I could give additional ideas. At least they'll go away thinking, this is someone who has one idea on their fingertips to improve the lab. That would be better than having so much.
Okay, I think I did dissent. I mean, maybe it was relatively easier for me. Although, I mean, in terms of relevance, what we were talking about, but I did not go into be specifics into sort of the vision which could guide the strategic plan. Yeah, I mean, I gave a perspective of the capabilities I have, but in terms of the vision.
So what decisions do you make for students?
As an individual?
Yeah, in your professional role.
Yes.
What decisions do you make for students?
Definitely assignment of mentors. I do mentor them too.
How many people do you mentor?
Over 10.
Okay. in a semester or in a year or
In a year.
in a year? And these are graduate students or undergraduate students?
Lately, I used to mentor undergraduates, but lately it is
Undergraduate.
graduate students now.
So from your perspective, what would have to change that they are more satisfied?
The research management systems, they need to be made leaner so that students can navigate them faster,
Okay.
because they hold bureaucratic requirements hold graduate students in this university a lot. So instead of completing in 3 or 4, 5 months, actually, it can take them typically not less than 1 year. Typically not less than 2 years to complete just a master's degree thesis.
Here you have the perfect example. That's the example that you want to come up with. Where you suddenly become the advocate and you say, we have an institutional problem that we can fix. And that problem doesn't help only my 10 students, it helps every department in the university. Yeah. So you're stepping it up from your level to a much higher level of thinking. Yeah. Thank you. Emmanuel.
So just something on your line. You started by introducing yourself. I'm a pharmacist, but I'm a pharmacist, but I have some leadership training. So that alone puts you down, puts the emotion down. If you change but and say and, I'm a pharmacist and this is what I do, that really changes
Thank you so much.
the reception of your information. So those are some of the small things that we can look at that really improve the way we think about, first of all, even ourselves. As a pharmacist or as a clinician, I know that if I add leadership experience, I'm not diverting from my clinical work, but I'm only adding. So that makes me think that leadership is an addition. It's not but or by the way. Yeah.
Yes, I thought I did well highlighting the problem of space, the problem of laboratory training, and possible solutions that we are trying to put up. However, the numbers that I was providing the solutions to were very small. And number two, my leadership roles and planning roles did not come out very well.
Oh,
So
you
I think
offended
I
me.
undersold.
You offended me. You called me my first name.
Yeah, you want to be in these situations. If you don't know the person personally, I would be very formal. Yeah. Formality is a sign of respect towards the position. Yeah. Towards the position, you would not easily see. Even I, when I met Aga Khan IV, I didn't call him by his first name. I said, "Welcome, Your Excellency." So even while we know each other well, I would always use his title because he's not here as my buddy. He's here as this important institution. Yeah, he represents like 20 million members. Yeah, and so you address that. And the president of the vice chancellor of Makerere represents 4,000 members of this university. So you address the position in this instance. Yeah.
So you mentioned the problem and wrote on the place where work is very squeezed, we don't have enough space, and that sounded like, yes, it's a problem, but it didn't give much of the solution. How do I say that? If someone said that, yeah, we've been doing good on training, and because of our training program, we are having more students and more applicants, and we need to expand. We think the first place to expand is space. So I'll go away thinking, yes, you are doing well and you want to expand, your dream is space. But the way you presented it, I would say, you don't even like your work because it is too squeezed and there is a problem.
So I have another question. Are your students' grades going down in the last 5 years?
The grades may not be going down, but we receive reports from the National Internship Committee saying that their grading at the end of each rotation is just getting worse. That our products do not represent the former products that were going from here. And you see,
Who was the comment?
and they have a form.
Someone should comment on this response.
Yes, and there is a form where they record those scores. So there is some bit of data in support of their argument.
So when you are sick, will these people treat you? Will these people treat you when you are sick?
They will.
How?
And that's why we're struggling to have the
So the ones you released last year, will they be able to treat you?
yeah.
No, not from the way you have responded to that. They will not be able to treat you. Neither will they be able to treat me. Because of the way you presented it. So Clara has a comment.
I think if I got the comment right, it would almost seem as if the department or the institution just passes the students. Sometimes there's a bad thing about an institution wanting the name, we pass so many people, but the product is not.
And yet you are doing that every day. What would I really think about you if you are not even confident about what you are releasing every day? So who wants to present it in a different way? Innocent. Did you hear his situation, his response? Yes. How would you respond to the same question?
I think the task would not be to portray the graduates as if they are not the future.
Respond. Give the response to that question yourself, so that we judge your response.
How I would have said it.
Yes. Ask him the question.
So, how would you improve the space situation so that students are more satisfied?
I think what I would do, I would, for example, look for other innovative ways like using other training places other than like Malabo where we are. We start other training centers outside the Malabo as a way of improving the space and making sure that the students are getting value for time and money. But I wouldn't say, come out outright to say the students actually.
Who should be on my committee? Who should be on my planning committee for the student spaces?
I would also incorporate students representatives in the planning committee. Maybe the dean, school. And maybe a representative from the Quality Assurance Committee of the university.
So that's the types of things you have to think when somebody comes with a question like that. Of how do I put together a structure? Who are the members for the process? And what are the resources that I need for that process actually to happen? Yeah. And again, you want to be advocate, whether it's for faculty, for students, for staff, it doesn't matter. But the communication is always how engaged do you show that you can be, how much solution do you have, How much ways do you think about can you benefit the university so we fulfill a better report in 5 years? So our outcome should be that we have a scorecard from those evaluators that give us an A, yeah, not a D. Yeah. So again, you're creating a lot of this message. It's your problem to figure that out. How about you telling me, I am part of your solution? Yeah. You're fully aware of the problems that we're having and the limitations, and I would be more than happy to come on to a committee that is formed that is looking at new innovative space solutions at the university of my career. Suddenly you are not farming your problem out, you're becoming part of the solution. Yeah. It is a very different conversation and it's a very different communication to the other person that you're suddenly engaged. Yeah. Engaged and you want to engage. Yeah. And you're ready to engage. Yeah. And you have already an idea, you want to form a space committee, and you could be in charge of the space committee, and the vice chancellor might actually be a committee member on a regular basis, because she has to communicate that to the public of what will be the master plan B for Makerere University to address its space limitations. And space limitations, let me tell you, at every university, space is prime. This is the hardest discussions that every university has. Yeah. There is no university that has ample space. That's the first thing that is occupied. Yeah. And it's the hardest to expand. Yeah. In every US university, in every European university, in every Asian university, and on the African continent, it's nothing different. Yeah. Because if it's not a privately funded university, all of the resources have to come out of the budget of the university on an annual basis. Or you have to go to Congress, your legislator, and say, please allocate for the university $10 million so we can build a new building. Yeah. And that's usually the vice chancellor's job, is to go to the legislator and say, here's the situation, we want to expand, we want to grow, we want to make the country better, we want to address health problems, we want to create engineering solutions, we want to create IT solutions that make us an ideal business partner for countries, our neighbors, or countries from abroad. That's how a vice chancellor has to think. Not so much from the one-on-one student experience, but how do I address my 4,000 students as a body? Yeah.
So for your graduates, one of the ways I would respond, I would say, yeah, we are turning out maybe 100 doctors every year, and each year we review our scorecard, and we have this internship committee that grades us each year, and we work very hard to make sure that the grade comes up every year. So describe what you do to improve, because you're not sitting there and watching everything go down, and you're not sitting there waiting for a bad report. You are doing something. So you can sell what you're doing and give the vice chancellor reason to think that you actually have a monitoring plan. And if there are any actions that you do, you mention them. Our examiners or our partners meet each year and review our scores.
You're hiding.
Standing here.
Okay. How are you doing? How did you get your message across?
I think I was not able to get the message across.
Uh-huh.
The challenge being that either I got an intermittent blockout. For some reason, there's something I wanted to say, but I feel to say it.
What did you want to say?
I know that Makerere is a research-led institution. And with my primary interest in research, and having an opportunity to face the Vice Chancellor, I think I should be in a position to prop up, the interest in research for the university, because that also helps in the rankings. And so, how do we get students on board? Students can be tagged to different projects, research projects. The university can also increase its budget and reward those who take up research projects and excel at them, and in a way that take back to the university being ranked high up.
How many students do you monitor?
Overall, well, I've had classes where I've taught maybe 400. But then there are new programs that have come on board, and students normally have projects, even other projects, and they are oftentimes assigned to different mentors. Some benefit, others do not benefit.
Okay, give me one solution, one wish you had that would make it easier to teach 400 students.
If we could do online, some online platforms. I've attended courses where you could be 10,000, and the courses have been conducted successfully. So I think that's one opportunity for the university.
She is the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University. She is as passionate about research as you are. Otherwise, she wouldn't be the Vice Chancellor. Yeah. She was put in this position to exactly represent this. Yeah. And you have classes with 400 students. So the Vice Chancellor will immediately pay attention to you if you drop a number like that, because he or she knows that you are taking part of a large portion of the mission of this institution. Yeah. So, and with an innovative idea like, could we try an online education system that would really fit well in a strategic plan? Because it will take technology, it will take training, it will take a number of years to get this really going, so that people are comfortable in teaching such large classes. Yeah. So you're hiding behind your science, yeah? And you're not shining as much as you could, because you have all the richness that you have. You just have to bring it out and allow it to come through. Yeah. Let your nervousness not be make you hide behind just the science. Yeah. And that's how you find all the passion for pharmacovigilance. Yeah. So for you, I would say practice your elevator speech with your family, with colleagues, and see once you become more fluent and really engaging and letting other people see how rich your work environment is. Yeah.
So you talked about your pharmacovigilance, but the trouble is you didn't link it to student development, which is a very rich area for you. You said we are working on antibiotics and they are not being used well, but you didn't tell the Vice Chancellor what's the role of trainers and students in changing the country. Because if you have this problem, then you say, as leaders, as Makerere, we are working on training all our students on handling this right away from the pharmacist release to the policy level. That is what you're doing, actually. And you don't have to tell me that it's a research-led university, because I'm the Vice Chancellor and I know it. But how do I see you using it? If you tell me that you have this research and you have talked to policymakers about antibiotic use and you have involved your students in dealing with this, I'll go away thinking, okay, yes, we have a research-led university.
All right, thank you. Okay.
I have a question. I don't know if it's right.
Speak up a little bit.
Yes, what commonly happens is that we look up to our leaders as solution providers. When I have a problem, my action will be I say, this is my problem. And my assumption is that he's there to think for us. So I'm just wondering, but the approach seems to be it should have been the other way.
Yes.
What explains this way of how things happen?
I tell you, because lots of people stay in a parent-child relationship with their leaders. That I'm the child, I will tell you what my problem is and you're going to fix it. Yeah? And as adult, at some point you have to switch the roles and say, I see shortcomings, but I will be part of the solution. I will be part of making a change. Yeah? And it is usually in a hierarchical relationship that we can farm our problems upwards, and we can't. Yeah, because they are our problems. So we can find others and say, how can we create new ways to address this issue? Yeah, whether this is in the faculty senate, or in your department, or in your school, that you get people together and say, how can we creatively find solutions and move our solution or our statement, for example, in the faculty senate. How can, I don't know, you have a faculty senate, no? Yeah. So, and find whether this is only a problem in the School of Pharmacy or is this a problem in the university. So the more widespread the problem is, the easier it will be for you to find like-minded people to say, yeah, we have to figure that out together. This affects us all. Yeah. If it's a small problem and you find a regional solution that can maybe fix your problem quicker, but the more systematic the problem is, the more you have to find allies around you that really think like you.
So just before that, I want to respond to his question. You said you're looking for solutions, but the leaders are also looking for solutions from you. Is that what is causing?
No, what commonly happens, we look up to our leaders for solutions. But I think we should actually be letting our leaders know what we think are the possible solutions.
Yes.
But
That's where we started from by saying not what the leaders can do for me, but what can I do for them. And the reason is that leaders are leaders, they are looking for your solutions, and they're also looking for solutions for you, but they need security. The leader needs to know that, whereas I'm not there, and I can't go to family medicine and go to dentistry and make sure that the leaders are doing their job. I can only hear from you. Now, if I'm not there, I must know that the leader of family medicine will do something when there's a crisis. I will come and find out how you solved the crisis you solved and add to that to improve it. But if I come and find he's in crisis, he has no solution for the crisis, and he had not even come to me. So many times, if you want the solution for the leader, the situation is when you have come to them. You have come to them and you can request for a solution. But you should also have alternatives. But if they have come to you, they want to find out, do you have any solutions? How are things going? If I didn't come, how would I know that you are having no space and I don't know your graduates are not graduating well? So if I come to you and give me that information, I'm going to be worried and insecure, and I will say, do I need to go to this school every month or what? What's happening?
I think Also, some of our leaders have a problem, like they don't really accept the solutions. Like sometimes they may think you want to take their position because I've been in a similar situation. Like I offered solutions and my services to improve the problems that were in that place, but I ended up being taken to my professional body saying that I wanted to take somebody's job.
So again, that's what we are learning here, that the information you give, you offer the solution, but now you have to look back and see how did I communicate the solution? Was the message competition for that job? Because nobody wants a computer for their job. But if the message comes in and it's competition, then you realize, oh, I did not communicate it well. Supposing this solution had come from you, but you built some consensus in the department, and maybe when you had this meeting, it was like 10 people supporting this solution. Surely if it's only me, I'm the leader, and I realize that in this room, over half think this is a solution, I'm the only one who is not thinking about the solution. I will not go away against the one person who has brought it. I would probably go away by saying this whole unit is the problem. I will not go away saying it's one person who is the problem.
I think I may say sometimes people's characters, maybe you need to judge the person before you actually provide a solution. Because we had several meetings and we proposed ways of providing solutions and everybody was on board. But then, and we had different areas of interest. So I guess it was important to judge what would come out of this whole situation of me volunteering to provide the service and trying to work with the rest of the group to provide solutions.
So you mentioned judging the person, which is a very important thing that we talked about. As you communicate, think about if the person you are communicating to, what do they think you are? Do they think you're a threat or a support? Are you thinking yourself as a threat or a support? After doing that judgment, then you can replan. If you anticipate that as a challenge, you replan how can you mitigate that challenge. The most supportive way of handling that challenge would be to depersonalize that solution and make sure it is not you alone giving that solution. And if you are the only specialty in that area, it would be, that's why we have stakeholders. The stakeholder doesn't have to be the same person in that unit who is interested in that. And information from a stakeholder can be actually more taken up than the person who is actually involved in the problem. These are all ways that we can use to redesign and design our messages for better reception.